Hey, 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 and welcome to another week of BMA Radio Show. I am here with my co-host, Pastor James Hall. How you doing today, Doc?
Doing well, Dr. J. How are you?
I am better than blessed.
Good deal.
So we have a great show lined up today. Before we get directly into the topic, I do want to mention that the House voted to decriminalize marijuana. Did you see that, Doc?
Yeah, and they also voted to give some kind of relief to convictions that have already been made for marijuana. So that was a good thing also.
Exactly. So
it's going to be interesting to see what the Senate is going to do.
Go ahead, Doc. You see the numbers up on the screen?
I do see the numbers. Pretty impressive. I'm interested to see now what the Senate is going to do.
I know, right? So Mitch, he definitely may not let it pass.
He may not even bring it to the floor.
Exactly. So hopefully the Senate does pass this. We just have to all get involved and make those phone calls because they have used weed and marijuana to criminalize Black and brown people. So it's time for us to definitely legalize marijuana. This is something that grows from the earth.
And it is definitely, whatever it is, it's definitely not a Schedule I narcotic. I mean, when you put marijuana on the same schedule as opioids, heroin, Vicodin, and those kinds of serious narcotics, then you know something's wrong, and it's political. You know, as much as I hate to say it, some of it is definitely political.
Definitely.
Right.
So we definitely want to get the listeners involved in this discussion on today. We want to definitely hear from you. It is open mic night. And we want to know what programs would you like to see implement in your community. And so before you start calling, let me tell you just a little bit about BMA. BMA stands for Business Ministerial Alliance, and it is a coalition of pastors, businessmen, and community leaders who are looking to advocate for the growth among African American businesses and to promote economic and social justice among disenfranchised communities. So, in other words, our whole purpose is to promote economic freedom in the African American community, because we all know we're not free until we are financially free. And that's one of the things that they didn't fight for during the civil rights movement. And, we are paying for it now. So we definitely want to hear from the community. What programs, what financial programs, whether it be educational programs, action steps, what would you like to see implemented? Or what do you think is needed in the community? What do you have to say, Doc?
Well, I think we should invite all of our listeners and viewers to give us input, because one of the most important things of leadership, and this is my basic premise of leadership, find out where the people want to go and take them there. And so we need to find out where those of us who are listening on the program this evening, who are watching the program this evening, who tune in on a regular basis, who have some interest and some desire to see what's going on, call in right now or text in, and we'll read the text. and let us know what you think should be the agenda for Black America in Mississippi, and what programs would you like to see implemented in our community to help move our community forward. And that's the most important thing, the word forward, to help move the community forward. Back to you, Doc.
That number is 601-948-5950. Again, that number is 601-948-5950. We want to hear from you. What programs would you like to see implemented in the community? So we want to hear from you before we tell you about some of the things we are working on. Give us a call or comment below in the chat box.
Exactly. And one of the things I tell you, the topic on my show in Tupelo on Thursday was, why are we so quiet? And I was trying to juxtapose how we want the Republicans and the conservatives to be vocal about what's going on with the Trump administration and what's going on with conservatives and other Republicans who are quiet. But at the same time, we are quiet. At the same time, we don't speak up as much. We don't speak as loudly as we should. And so this program right here tonight is an excellent example of how people can show that they will no longer be quiet. They can show that they will no longer just sit back and hold their tongue, because we do need good, substantive ideas about where our communities need to go. So please call us up. Please text us. Please join into the conversation and let us know what you think should happen in our communities in order to be able to move our communities forward. Doc?
Well said. Well said. What do you think are some of the things that people might call in saying that they want to see implemented?
Well, let me just give a couple of areas. I'm not going to give specific programs, but I'm going to give a couple of areas that I think people might be interested in. One of the areas that I'm particularly interested in as a community activist is public transportation. And every community, large or small, needs to have some kind of a public transportation system. There are a lot of people, or there is a lot, whatever is that supposed to be, a lot of people who don't have a way to get around. They don't have a way to get to their jobs. They don't have a way to get to the Walmart. They don't have a way to get to the drugstore. They don't have a way to get around. And so that's one area, public transportation. Another area that I think is vitally important to our community is childcare. And childcare and public transportation go together hand in hand, because if a parent does not have good, solid, reliable transportation, they cannot get their child to daycare. They cannot get their child to childcare and kindergarten. And they aren't able to move around town the way they should in order to take care of the things that they need to take care of. So transportation and childcare are two important things. When I ran for the Mississippi House of Representatives back in 1991, one of the things that I advocated are satellite health departments. Most of our counties have one health department, is located in town, and it's just open on Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 5. But what if we have satellite healthcare centers in our rural areas? So that same place that people go to vote, doing voting in the rural areas, that same precinct place could be a satellite health center. So you could take a family nurse practitioner, or you could even take a doctor, or you could even take a nurse, and you can set up some screening stations where people could get screened for diabetes, they could get screened for all kinds of health problems. So healthcare, transportation, and childcare are two areas, Doc, that I think that people could have some thoughts about. Don't want to give ideas, but really love to talk about very specific areas that could be covered. What's on your mind?
So let me ask you this: how do those things relate to economic justice?
Well, most of those things relate to economic justice because Mississippi is the least healthy state in the union. And one of the reasons that we don't have a lot of economic justice, economic empowerment, is because we have so many sick people. Imagine if we were able to do quality health, first class quality health care in Mississippi, get a lot of people off of the Medicare rolls, get those people on employment rolls. Now, what's going to happen? You've got more people going into the tax system. You've got more people who have spending power in their communities. You have more people who are healthy. You have fewer people who are spending so much of their money on health care. That's economic justice. It's not necessarily economic independence, but that's economic justice. And that's one of the ways that good quality health care, child care, a parent is making more money, not on the welfare rolls, so to speak, making more money, putting more money back into the tax system once again, and putting more money back into their communities. Sometimes that person could end up being a small business owner, etc. It's a spiral effect, Doc. It's how it's done.
Gotcha. I definitely understand. And, most people don't even understand or know that early childhood education is not required in the state of Mississippi or the United States, period. And if a child only is required to go to school by the age of 6, think about all the things that they miss learning in those 6 years. So one of the things we need to advocate for is early childhood education. If our children get a head start of learning, then we will be ahead of the game. And the curriculum that they're teaching is, I do believe that students should be learning how to buy a house, how to pay their taxes, all the things that they will have to do as a functioning adult. You don't learn those things in school, even about civics, So I do think that we really need to educate the community on things of that nature.
Doc, let me tell you what. I'm sorry, I apologize. Let me tell you what's interesting about what you just said. And I think our community needs to know this. When I was working at WTVA, one of the young producers who was only 23 years old that I was working with owned his own house. I'm on dialysis now. I was talking with my dialysis tech on Friday. He was talking about a dispute that he has with an apartment complex that he owns in Alabama. He's about 26 years old. Another young man that I have conversations with was telling me that he lived right around the corner from where we live. He owns his own house. And that's economic empowerment because these 3 young white men already are self-sustaining. They are in the tax base and they have economic empowerment because you remember when we were talking the other day and Brother Leroy Walker brought up the word credit worthiness. Credit worthiness. We spend so much time and effort and expense on frivolous things and getting in debt early, 17, 18, 19 years old. And we don't have good credit worthiness. But I'm thinking about these 3 young men that I know already who own houses and own an apartment complex, and not one of them is 30 years old yet. We've got to pick up that kind of an example, and we've got to start doing the same thing.
I definitely agree. If you start early, planting those seeds, that you will definitely see them grow. My father used to always tell us that they won't make any more land. He always used to tell us the value of, investing in real estate, investing in land. It's two things they can't make no more of: blood and land.
Yeah. I mean,
So people
that's it.
need those lessons. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just agreeing with you 100%. People need, and not only are we not acquiring land, we're losing land, because there are so many of us in our community who go for the easy dollar, who are selling the land that our mamas and daddies held, our grandparents held, and we can take that land and we can use it as collateral to own our own businesses or to do whatever it is we need to do in order to further economic empowerment and economic development in our communities. But it's not happening because we go for the easy dollar.
And that's one thing my father did. His father had all this land, and he had a lot of debt on the land, and none of his sisters and brothers wanted to pay the taxes on the land. And so my father actually paid the taxes on the land, and that's how he owned all this land today. And so, we really have to educate not only young people, but all people about how to be financially self-sufficient. It's sad that we don't own anything. We don't own anything. Even if people said today that they wanted to leave United States and go where? Where would we go? Where can we go to where we own something?
Or how much capital are we going to take with us when we get there?
Exactly. So our whole purpose is to help build wealth in the African American community. And so we asking you to give us a call. What does that look like to you? Give us a call and give us your feedback. The number is 601-948-5950. Again, 601-948-5950. We want to hear from you today. What would you like to see implemented in your community? What didn't you learn about money, finances, wealth that you would like to learn? So, Doc, while they are getting their thoughts together, ready to give us a call, can we talk about a little bit about the wealth management plan?
We can, but let me say this much, because all of these are real examples, and this just blew me away. I started a thing way back in the late 1990s called a Roth IRA. Now, there always was an IRA, but this was a Roth IRA. And I need to tell people to ask their financial planners, their financial experts.
Hey, caller, you're on the air. Turn your radio down. What's your question or comment?
All right, for you, for the Black community to concentrate more on their PTAs. The local PTAs are not participating in the schools. That's why our school systems are failing. The Black PTAs need to step up in these local school districts.
Very good. Thank you so much for that comment. He said that we need Black parents to participate and step up in PTSA meetings. That's parents, teachers, and association. So make sure you go to the meetings. Make sure you know what's going on at your child's school. You are a huge part of that school, and you have a voice, and your voice matters.
And let me speak to that.
What do you think
because
about what the caller said?
Yeah, I used to be a consultant for a couple of groups who were involved in public education. One of the things that we found is one of the reasons that African American and poor parents don't get involved in PTAs is because, number one, the PTA meetings are held during the course of the business day, and parents cannot attend. I was working with the North Panola School District at the time, and we changed the hours of PTA meetings so that working parents could come. It sounds easy, but it's not. Number one, I tell you what else we did in the North Panola District. We encouraged employers in Panola County to give parents up to 4 hours a year for parent teacher conferences or any kind of school activity. So if they wanted to take one of those 4 hours and go to their child's basketball game or attend their child's tournament, because a lot of the tournaments are held during the day, they could do that in addition to their regular pay. What I'm saying is it takes partnerships. And it takes partnerships many times with the school districts, the parents, and even the employers. So I agree with the caller. Parents need to get involved with PTAs. But the first thing we've got to do is encourage the school districts to make the PTAs more accessible, have them in the evenings, have them on Saturday mornings, so that working parents will be able to attend and will be able to have input into their child's educational lives. But he's exactly right. And that would be a wonderful way for us to further our community by getting parents involved in PTAs and PTOs, because some of them are called PTOs now.
And anytime the schools have the students performing, that's a way to get parents to come out. They want to come out to see their child perform. Anytime you can provide food to the community, that's another incentive to get them to come out. So we appreciate your call, caller. Give us a call and weigh in. What would you like to see implemented in your community? Give us a call, 601-948-5950. And we're talking about economic programs. Did you learn about how to file your taxes, how to buy a house, how to start a business? What type of programs would you like to see implemented in your community? We would like to hear from you. Give us a call. So what are some of the other programs, Doc? That's right. What are some of the programs? What are some of our programs in BMA that you want to talk about tonight, Doc, that we want to share with the listening audience?
You had introduced the conversation of the Wealth Empowerment Fund, and by the way, Doc, when we are telling our young people about financial security and financial empowerment, the first thing we've got to do is to teach them how to save. Let me give you a perfect example. When I bought my first Roth IRA, the guy that sold me or enrolled me into my Roth IRA, he said that when he was 6 years old, his father started saving for him $50 a week. Now, his father obviously was a business owner or something to that effect, but his father saved for him $50 a week, put into a savings plan. When this guy was 55 years old, he had almost $1.2 million.
Wow. Tell them a little bit about how that works. Most people are not familiar with Roth IRAs, period. So give them a little background information on how Roth IRAs work. Well, we know it is a retirement plan.
It's an individual retirement account. And the way individual retirement account worked before the Roth IRA, and I sure hope somebody out there is a financial planner or an insurance agent and will call in and give more specific. I can give you the overview. A Roth IRA allows you to do this. If you have a paycheck, it allows you to take out a certain amount of money before taxes. Okay. So that lowers your tax allocation in your paycheck because you're taking out that amount of money before taxes. If you hold on to that accumulated and aggregate amount of money until your retirement age, you can draw it out with no tax. So you put it in before taxes and you can take it out with no tax penalty. Now, the two things about the Roth IRA that I learned is, number one, you can only save, I think it's $3,000 a month. Now, when I started, it was $2,000, but the limit per year was.
Give us callers back, caller. I missed the call. Call us back, caller. Go ahead, Doc. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the limit is $3,000 a year. And if you take the money out before your retirement age.
We got a call. Hold on one second. Oh, all three lines blowing up. Hey, caller, you're on the air. What's your question coming?
Yeah, I got a quick comment here on the PTA. I was just listening on you were saying about the parents attending the PTA meeting. One reason Black people don't attend a PTA meeting, rather, say for instance, I have a daughter 16 years old. They do not get the information out there to the parents. You know, and by my daughter being 16 years old, I don't think I went to about 2 PTA meetings since she been born. And so one reason is they don't get the information out to the parents in time, or they don't get the information out to them at all. Before you know anything, the PTA meeting is over.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Hey, caller, you're on the air. What's your question or comment?
Good evening. How y'all doing? Enjoying the conversation.
Thank you so much.
Great information that's needed. But, you know, the program that I think that will be most beneficial to our community is personal wealth, personal finance, wealth building, how to invest your money. And I think it's something that we're really interested in, but it's just that there's, just a void of information out there. But let me help you out a little bit on the Roth IRA.
Okay.
Those contributions that you contribute to a Roth IRA is after tax, not before tax. That's your traditional IRA that you contribute before tax dollars. The limit as of 2020 is $6,000 under age 50. That's the maximum contribution. If you're over age 50, you can contribute an additional $1,000 for a total of $7,000 per year. You don't have to make minimum required distribution. That's something that's specific to a traditional IRA. So, for example, if you wanted to have a Roth IRA and pass it to your child, you never have to take distributions from it. But if you do decide to take distributions from it, and Doc, you were exactly right, the interest as well as your contributions is tax-free. But it's a great tool to build wealth. It's a great tool to pass on down to your children. It's a great tool to secure your retirement. And again, it's something you know, a lot of people in our community don't know. But the thing about the Roth IRA, it's just a vehicle where you stick money. You have to invest your money once you open a Roth IRA. You have to say, hey, I want these funds to go to this mutual fund. Oh, I want them to go to this mutual fund, so that they will work over time for you. But I don't want to hold y'all show up. I just wanted to provide that little bit of information for you.
Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you contributing that information.
All right, and great show. Keep up the great work.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
All right, give us a call. Go ahead, Doc.
Oh, he's exactly right on those points. I'm going to have to make sure that I find out on my own whether or not your contribution is deducted before or after taxes. He may well be right. Another feature of the Roth IRA is that you can make an interest-free loan from it as long as you pay it back within 90 days. You can withdraw from it up to a certain amount, but you have to put it back in, the whole amount, in 90 days. Otherwise, it's income. It's not your own interest-free loan anymore. It's gonna be income, and it's gonna show up on your W-2 form. They're gonna send you a W-2 form at the end of the year. Exactly.
I made that mistake before, and paid taxes on whatever I withdrew from the IRA. So, yeah, expensive mistake to learn.
I tell you what I did. I made the mistake of taking some money out of my wife's 401k, and I missed the repayment date by 1 day. I just simply forgot, and I missed it by 1 day. And they penalized her big time, man. My wife's still mad at me about that. That was 15 years ago.
Good information. So if you would like to contribute to the conversation, give us a call. I missed a couple of your calls, so call us back, 601-948-5950, 601-948-5950. While we're waiting on your call, we will talk about some of the projects we are working on in BMA, and we invite you to become a member of BMA. Just go to our Facebook page and send us a message if you would like to join. If you would like for us to send you more information, we will definitely send you more information. Our monthly meetings are on the first Wednesday of every month. We have a call coming in. One moment. Hey, caller, what's your question or comment? You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing? I just tuned in and I heard y'all talking about your 401k disbursements and withdrawals and penalties.
Yes.
So at work there is a with the CARES Act, we have a 401k plan, and they were sharing with us that we had salary reductions and things like that. Do a disbursement up to 100,000. And then, but you could withdraw it penalty free as long as it was paid back within. They give you 3 years to pay it back. My question had to do with if you all, as far as paying, quote unquote, paying it back. Is that just paying it back to just opening up another IRA? And doing it that way, I don't know a way to just really pay back into my plan.
Great question. And if someone listening knows the answers to this question, give us a call, 601-948-5950.
From my
I haven't
experience,
dealt with the CARES Act, so what it means.
From my experience, pay it back means put it back in the existing fund. If somebody wants to chime in on that, then by all means, please do so. But pay it back means put it back in the existing fund. And the former caller was also right. It is an investment account. I was with State Street, and State Street sold to BlackRock, and BlackRock is about to sell to somebody else now. So I don't even know where my money is today.
And they do the same thing with the homeowners, with the mortgage. You know, my mortgage have been to different lenders over the past years. They just sell these loans like it's nothing. And so we have to be up on what's going on in the financial business so that we can be a part of the financial community as it's growing. Again, we have always been behind and locked out of the American dream, especially when it comes to obtaining financial wealth. And when you say attaining financial wealth, what does it look like to you? So, Doc, what does that look like to you, financial wealth?
Well, there are three elements to me that look like financial wealth.
Sorry to cut you. We got a caller. Hold those three elements for me. Hey, caller, you on the air. What's your question or comment?
How's everybody doing, D?
Hey, Silky.
My question is, why is it so hard for African Americans to get a home loan here in Jackson, Mississippi? My husband and I, we went to all the banks here in Jackson, Trustmark, Regions, more, and they turn us down. We grant a home grant. We have Jackson, Mississippi that can do a home grant, and that turned us down. We're not in that particular circle. With what I can understand, that's why, you know. But I would never be in no clique here in Jackson, Mississippi. But I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you so much, Silky. We appreciate
Thank you.
That's what we have a lot of African Americans with the same income, with the same type of job that will go in as a white person for a home loan, and the white person will receive the loan and the black person will be denied. How can we address those issues? Because it's definitely an issue.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where we have to focus attention on it. You know, my business is communications, and that's how I get, you know, if I was a lawyer, I'd be getting people's attentions by filing lawsuits. Because I'm in communications, I get people's attentions by calling press conferences. And for example, about 6 years ago, Bancorp South, which is headquartered right here in Tupelo. I mean, their national headquarters is right here in Tupelo. They were found to be redlining in Memphis. They were found to do that. And just so happens that, you know, I know some folk at Bancorp South. And I told them, if you guys don't get this straight, you're going to be hearing from us in the form of a press conference standing on the street in front of your bank, letting the whole world know that you redlining. And that's still a serious problem in the financial community for African American folk. That is that we are being redlined. Whole communities in Memphis were being redlined. So if I were a lawyer, I think I'd be trying to do some research to see if there was redlining going on in some of the major cities. But because I am a communications specialist, I think that I would try to deal with it through press conferences. But it takes so much research. It takes so much time. It takes so much manpower to find out and to prove if, in fact, a financial institution is redlining. But that's what the problem is. And you're right, Dr. J. The same couple can go into a bank file the applications, have the same income, the same assets, the same credit score, one will get denied and the other will not get denied. And they will blame it. And I tell you what they blame it on. They blame it on the auditors. They say that it's the auditors, but live straight from hell.
And there was a lady, and I played this video on one of my other shows. It was this lady, well, it was a couple, and one was black and one was white, and they was trying to sell their home. And the lady told the black lady, she removed all the signs of anything black from their home. And she let her husband, who was white, go to the showing of the home. She didn't go. And when I tell you that they appraised their homes for $100,000 more just for her doing those little things, like it is like I said, we have been locked out of the financial game for years. And that's why I think the conversation of us talking about reparation is so important. And like you said the other day, a lot of people may not believe that it is attainable, but we still have to present the case why reparations is important. Again, a lot of people didn't believe in Obama. They didn't believe that we could ever have a black president. And I remember when there was still 8 people in the race, the message that Obama was sending, I knew he had a chance. So just like you never thought we could have a black president, we could get reparation. And with this new administration coming up, it could be possible.
Well, I believe that at some point in the Biden administration, some point in the next 4 years, the conversation about reparations is going to come to the forefront. And with midterm elections coming up in 2022, it's possible that enough candidates for the U.S. Senate and enough candidates for the U.S. House of Representatives will pick up the mantle of that conversation, and there will be a national discussion about reparations. But I have no doubt reparations is going to be talked about and discussed during the Biden administration. I have absolutely no doubt. Joe Biden is a weird dude, and
you talked about. Go ahead. Why you say he's weird?
Well, you know, I was looking at his biography a couple of weekends ago, and the thing about Joe was when Joe was a young man, he stood up for African Americans' rights. He and some of his college students went into a restaurant one day, and the restaurant owner said, or waitress said, "We don't serve colored." And the black guy decided he was going to go up, he was going to get up and walk out. And Joe said, "No, if you don't serve him, none of us are going to eat, and we're not going to get out of here." When he was younger than that, Joe was a lifeguard in an all-black community. And his best friend eventually ended up being the mayor of his town in Delaware, a black guy. And so he's always had these tendencies. He's probably a lot like a lot of liberal white people in that he gets caught in the betwixt and between. But I just kind of feel like Joe Biden's heart is in the right place, and he's going to put, I mean, he selected a black woman. Joe could have copped out and get beat over the head real bad if he hadn't selected Kamala Harris. But when the presidential season first started, I got on my show, and I have it in recording on tape, that my ideal ticket would be Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. This was while they still had 10 people on the stage with Pete Buttigieg and everybody else. But even from the very beginning, from day one, my ideal ticket would have been Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And bless God, I got my wish. And I think Joe is going to do a great job of trying to put minority rights to the forefront.
So you mentioned about candidates, and so we've been playing with this. Tell us a little bit about the municipal project.
Sure. Never got a chance yet to talk about the Wealth Empowerment Fund, but we'll do that. We'll do that. I'd really love to talk about the municipal project. First of all, let me say, Dr. J, I think you and I both are not stupid, and we are not ignorant. And we know that there are a lot of training and leadership programs that exist in the state of Mississippi. And so I don't want anybody to think that we are stupid enough to think that we are trying to reinvent the wheel. But in some degree, we are trying to reinvent a different kind of wheel. We are trying to develop a project to do three things. Number one, we want to expand the voting electorate by getting people involved in municipal elections. I'm telling you, sis, municipal elections are on the same par as county elections and statewide elections used to be. I don't think we're going to ever go back to a 17, 18, 19% participation in county and state elections. I'm thinking it's always going to be 50, 51, 55, 60% now. Municipal elections, you get mayors who are being elected with 17% of the registered vote in their city. You're getting city council people who are being elected with 10 and 12 people just don't vote in municipal elections. The most important elections in our universe. And so, number one, the municipal project is going to encourage people to get out there and vote in your city government, because the closest thing that you have to a say in how government operates is in your city government. So that's number one. Number two, we want to train people to run for city government office. We're not going to tell them what office to run for. We're not going to tell them whether to run as a Democrat, Republican, or independent, but we are going to equip them with the ability to run for public office, for municipal public office, by telling them this is how your municipal government operates, and this is how you can be effective in municipal government. We're not telling you to run, but we are telling you if you want to run, we're going to equip you to do it. And then the third thing is, remember I said three things. The third thing is, even if you choose not to run for city government office, we still can help you develop some leadership skills. And one of the things that is sorely lacking in many of our cities these days is leadership skills by many of our citizens. You have people in our cities, in our municipalities, who are hungry not only to learn more about government, but to be more in government. And so the municipal project, number one, is going to expand voting. Number two, is going to train people to become candidates if they want to. But number three, is going to train them to become leaders in their municipalities, even if they choose not to run for a city government. That's what the municipal project is all about.
Very good job explaining it. You know, when people hear the word municipal, a lot of people don't even know what that means. So when we say municipal, we just simply talking about city yes. Government, city elections. And this program, you know, and I know there are some statewide programs that focus on training people. I guess, why do you think a program like this is needed? Because
we are going for grassroots folks. We're going for people who don't necessarily have degrees in public policy and administration and already on the state executive committee of the Democratic Party. We're going for people who are not already in leadership programs. We know that there are several people. For example, most cities have what they call a leadership program, Leadership Hines, Leadership Lee, Leadership Lafayette, Leadership Lauderdale, but you have to be sponsored by your employer. And your employer pays that tuition for you to learn leadership skills. We're talking plain old grassroots folks. We're talking about the deacon in the local Baptist church. We're talking about the lady who might work at the daycare center. So what differentiates the municipal project from just about every other project in the state is we're looking for grassroots leaders. We're looking for leaders who have some desire to serve their communities and not just put another documentation, another certification behind their name.
Exactly. I do think that a lot of people want to serve, willing to serve, but they're not really educated about municipal government. And so this is one of the goals of the municipal project, to educate people on municipal government and how it works. And so we would definitely be sending out information next week on how you can join and be a part of it. Can anybody join? Tell us a little bit about that process. Are you searching for a specific?
Anybody can join. The only obvious issue is we don't know everybody. So the only way anybody can join is that we know everybody. But what we are going to do is to send out this notice to about 300 key contacts in the state. And these 3 key contacts can put this in the hands of anybody. And we already have a cadre of community leaders, Doc, as you well know. I mean, I work a lot with Southern Echo. Southern Echo already has a cadre of community leaders. My organization, Mississippi Trailblazers VisionGroup, they have a cadre of community leaders. Black Voters Matter, that Carol Blackman coordinates in Mississippi, they have a cadre of community leaders. And these are people who are not highly educated. They might have some college education. They might have a college degree, but they aren't people who are teaching public policy administration. They aren't people who are teaching organizational development with a master's degree or a PhD. So most of the people that we are going to try to identify are plain grassroots people. And that's what we are going to try to do in order to raise the level of grassroots leadership in our small and mid-range community. West Point, Mississippi, Columbia, Mississippi, Waynesboro, Mississippi. These aren't places that you necessarily hear about a whole lot of people doing serious organizational development, if you will. But these people need leaders. Crawford, Mississippi, home of Jerry Rice, Batesville, Mississippi. We need to identify people in those towns and those municipalities that want to be leaders, that want to learn more about leadership skills, and want to offer something back to their community.
In the white community, they started training leaders 20, 30 years ago for positions that they're serving in today. And so that's one of the things we have to do. We have to start training and identifying our leaders early on at a young age. I think teenagers, we need to be talking and looking and teaching the teenagers, because everything they do is going to affect them, whether it's locally, on the state level, or federally. So the government is going to affect you on some type of level. So you need to know how to function in that environment. So we have about 5 minutes left in the show. What final words would you like to give to the listening audience?
Absolutely what you just said about identifying young leaders. A lot of people are blaming old heads like myself, and to some degree they are right, that we don't empower young people enough. The municipal project is a way that we want to identify and empower young people so that they can get involved. The problem that I think most of us have with young folk is that they want to do, but they don't want to know. They want to do stuff. They want to have an impact, but they don't know enough. They aren't educated enough. And by educated, I mean informed enough to be able to handle some of the issues. So a hot head is not going to get it. And what we've got to be able to do is to let folks know that we want to identify young people. We want to be able to assist them and give them the ability to lead their communities. Doc, and by the way, talking about young leaders, there's a program in Mississippi called Young Leaders Under 40. I sure wish I could have joined. I didn't find out about Young Leaders Under 40 till I was 58 years old, because they hid it from us.
Right. I am a graduate, a 2007 graduate of Leadership Greater Jackson. So I definitely know one of those programs that you spoke of. And I was at Jackson State. The year after I got my PhD, I went into that program. Jackson State actually paid for me to go to that program. So I am thankful that they saw something in me and paid for me to go through. And I am part of the baddest class of Leadership Jackson.
You mean baddest as in baddest or baddest as in goodies?
That is as good as.
I am a graduate of.
So thank you. Okay.
Quickly,
so you're right. They do have.
Yeah, I was in graduate school at Ole Miss, and my part-time job was as a library assistant, and so I got Ole Miss to pay my way into Leadership Lafayette. And I got to tell you that one of my baddest classmates was Robin Tannehill, who is now the mayor of Oxford, Mississippi.
Wow. And you do meet some spectacular people going through this program. I went through the program with Otha Kane, just some of the names that you see out here today. One of the state representatives, Chris Brown, not Chris Bell. Chris Bell was in my class. I can keep naming names of people who graduated in the baddest class. So we're going to continue this conversation next week. I'm looking forward to having Mr. Leroy Walker join us on next week so he can talk about minority participation and how to gain wealth management in the African American community. So we thank you for being a spectacular co-host, and we will see you next week. We appreciate you, Doc.
Later.
All righty. Thank you all so much for tuning in to BMA Radio Show. And so we want to take this time to thank our sponsors for sponsoring BMA Radio Show. Make sure you all tune in the same time next week, Sunday, 7:00. So let's hear a word from our sponsors.
When it comes to the best biosecurity and biosafety protocols to help your business thrive during these challenging times of face masks, viruses, and gloves, schools, businesses, sports arenas, hotels, and even churches are turning to America's top COVID-19 experts.
Providing is a solution that has the ability to change the way we fight COVID-19.
Hi, I'm Socrates Garrett, Chief Operating Officer for SRS Inc., the single source solution for biosecurity protocols. SRS will ensure that your business does not shut down.
What separates SRS from other companies? We understand that if you control your environment, you control the spread of COVID-19.
SRS, the one source solution.
Have you had your Earthblend coffee today? At Earthblend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earthblend Coffee.
To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now. Welcome to We Believe TV. We are inspired by bold and spirited believers ready to adopt an innovative approach for speaking the word so that others' faith might grow from hearing the word, which gives rise to hope. Watch your church worship service live, our collection of faith-based programming, as well as original content, right here on We Believe TV. How and when you want, anytime and anywhere you want. Sign up now.
WeBelieve.tv.